Hello and welcome to the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. This is episode 25, August the 24th, 2017. Recorded from the studio on the hill, Southwest UK, not a million miles from Londinian. The Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show is proud to be part of the Britpod scene, and please take time out of your precious lives to have a listen to the fantastic shows that they offer. Simply by typing in hashtag BritPodScene. Episode 25 was once again proudly brought to you by those fantastic, amazing guys at MPC Solutions for all your computering needs. Yo, what the frickin' hell's up, podcasters? Thank you for joining me once again. Hope you are keeping fine and dandy, and welcome to episode 25. We are 1/4 of a century old. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought it already? 25 episodes in already. It is Friday afternoon, and I've only just got round to launching this week's episode. It's been super hectic this week, and this episode did take longer than normal to edit. As you know, I never, ever edit a show, but this week I kind of did. 2 hours it took me to edit. So we're a little bit late, and I do apologise for that. But what the hell's been going on? What the hell's been going on in this episode? Well, I had an old mucker of mine chewing the fat with me and Liam. He's called Craig. He's a super mofo, and I think you're going to love him. We'll be talking stuff like trains. Trains. I did say trains. We're making trains non-boring. We're talking films. We're talking the McGreggor Mayweather fight that's happening tomorrow and a whole load of other shit. Well, we also have music from Calling All Astronauts, and we'll be playing a track from the new Flag Burner EP by American Anymen. So let's do this, shall we?
The Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show.
Right, guys and girls, on this episode, I'd like to introduce to you an old pal of mine. His name is Craig Mills, and we go back a long way. You're right, Craig. How is it, mate?
Good, thanks.
Now, we're currently on about take 3 now because we're just like having so much fun here. It's crazy. You right, Liam?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. How are you?
Join the party.
I really am, mate.
We're having some fun. Like I say, take 3 now.
Take 3.
It's a crazy night.
It's going to be great.
It's not often we have a threesome in the studio. You see, we got Craig here tonight.
3 already.
And when you got 3 people in the studio, it gets a bit crowded and it gets hot and sweaty.
Crowded house, really.
Crowded house. So, what have you been up to, Liam?
Mate, the usual.
Drinking?
Eat,
drink, sleep, repeat?
Yeah, every week.
What about you, Craig? What have you been up to?
On leave from work at the moment, so
Always
spending
good.
some time with the family, doing extracurricular hobbies.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. I've had a right crap week again this week. I've had car problems.
It's only Monday.
Well, I've had a bad time since
I know
last
what
time
you
I've seen
mean, yeah.
I've had bloody car problems, mate.
Have you?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I had to pay £100. Craig can relate to this probably because you're all into your cars, and you, Craig.
I am, yeah.
I do apologise for having me back to you as well because I've got all the microphones all set up in here, and I'm gonna have a dodgy neck keep turning around talking to you. So I'm gonna face the front. Don't think I'm being rude. Now, I've had car problems this week. I was driving to work the other morning and I didn't have any petrol in my car, but I know for a fact that I did have petrol in my car. So I put a little bit more in just to check that I did have some in, and it was my petrol gauge packed up. So I took it down your father-in-law's actually.
Yeah.
I took it down to Rich, and it was the sensor in the fuel tank that's packed in. So £100 later for the part, £200 in total, a little bit more for the job to be done, and yeah, that's me. Then I find out that I've got 2 bold tyres, and I had to get some tyres as well.
Bonus.
No, it's not a bonus.
At least you're legal now.
Well, yeah, I had to get some budget tyres, and I hate getting budget tyres, but it was like, because I'd spent so much on my car this week, I couldn't afford to get some decent ones. And I'll tell you what, these budget ones, what a load of shit. I went, it was raining over the weekend.
Yeah.
I've been driving around and it just like skipping around the corner. It felt like worse than what my slicks were that I had on
You'd
before.
have had more grip with slicks.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then Wednesday, I went to Taekwondo because I just started doing Taekwondo, and I got beaten up by a 75-year-old man.
It's a week that only you could have, isn't it?
Honestly, mate, we
I know.
kind of
I
talk about
believe it.
taekwondo.
I'm kind of glad you put the taekwondo bit in there.
Yeah. Sam, the bloke that does taekwondo, he said to me, he says, Mark, we've got a guy come in and he's doing a session with us and I'd like to put him with you tonight. So I'm like, yeah, that's all right. So right at the beginning of every taekwondo, just to get warmed up, we do a bit of one-on-one non-contact sparring. Now, I found out afterwards that the chap that I was sparring with, this 75-year-old man, was in fact a MMA fighter. He was also done judo and boxing and champions in all of his field from South Africa. So we stood up against one another and touched gloves and ready to spar and then bobbing around like I do. He just stepped forward, smashed me right in the face.
You probably thought I'll be fine here.
Smashed me right in the face. And I'm like, mate. And he's like, oh, I'm very, very sorry, mate. He said, in MMA, there's no such thing as non-contact. Non-contact means a dab, Yeah. And I'm like, well, we're not doing MMA now. We're doing bloody taekwondo, and it's non-contact. So so he gave me a little bit of a dab in the face and
hit you with a fold-up chair.
But he was a really good, nice bloke and fantastic. He's a top of his field in MMA. You know what that is? Do you know what MMA is, Liam?
It's a drink, isn't it?
No, it's mixed martial arts.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
you fool.
So he done that. He done boxing and he done a bit of judo, and he was a pretty tough cookie. So that was that. Weekend, went down the caravan again.
How was that?
Wet, rained the whole time we were down there.
It was quite wet, wasn't it?
So didn't really do much the weekend. So like I say, it's been since the last time I've seen you in the studio, I haven't really done much apart from work, get my ass kicked, spend loads of money, and get rained on.
Standard for most people.
It's a good week, though, isn't it? It's a week in Britain.
So, on the topic of getting your ass kicked, this Saturday. And you might want to get your little laptop here, Liam,
cheers.
To beef this up a little bit. On Saturday is the Mayweather-McGregor fight.
Yes.
Are you into your martial arts and your boxing at all, Craig? Do you follow that sort of thing?
Not religiously, but yeah, I do. I do pay an interest to the mixed martial arts and stuff like that.
Who do you reckon's going to win this then? Because for the people that don't know anything about it, Mayweather, he's a 40-year-old boxer and he is top of his field. He's won everything. He's the best. He's what, sorry?
49 and none.
Is that right?
He's had 49 fights, won 49 fights.
Fantastic. See, he's good. Craig knows his stuff. And then you've got McGregor, who is the champion of his field, but in MMA. So he's basically coming from MMA into boxing.
Kind of a crossover. Like.
And he's going to try and fight the best man in the world in his field. And there's been a lot of to do. Mayweather has been winding McGregor up, and it looks to be a good fight. And I think currently Mayweather is the favourite to win. Who do you reckon's going to win, Craig?
Purely on speed and precision, I think Conor McGregor.
You really?
Yeah, because if you look at every opponent he's fought prior to the fight, they've all been kind of aggressive and in his face, and after the fight they were just he's too fast, he's too precise. Everything he throws, he lands, and I'm not sure Mayweather will be able to defend against that. Somebody who's actually that fast and that quick and precise.
But the difference is Mayweather is a boxer. McGregor is a mixed martial artist,
but
and
they're still fighting.
Yeah, I know.
They're just not throwing legs.
Yeah, I know that, mate. But it's just like, how can you? It's a bit like, really.
Let's get ready for this one.
It's a bit like Liam doing his part-time post round, right?
Part-time. Why did you emphasise that?
Coming on a full-time real bands round like me and expecting to complete every day.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen.
But they've also got lightweight gloves as well.
Yeah, so we as postman.
I just realised how much of an inside joke thing that is, isn't it?
What do you reckon, Liam? Have you got any odds there in front of you? Who do you reckon?
Not really, mate. I think McGregor.
You reckon McGregor?
And I say that as someone who knows nothing about it, really. But yeah.
So you're just guesstimating them, really?
Well, yeah.
I would like to see McGregor win. He's got the luck of the Irish behind him. I'd love to see him win, but I just think that it is a bit too much of a... How am I going to put it? Too much of a fight to beat Mayweather. I mean, like I say, he might be 40. McGregor's got a longer reach. He's I think, heavier. But I just think it's going to be an uphill battle for him. I'm going to put my money on McGregor. So,
How long has it been since Mayweather's had a competitive fight?
yeah, that's another good one. That is a good one.
Ring conditioning, you know?
Yeah, I don't really know. Liam's the stats man.
I'm on the stat man.
But I that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a very, very interesting fight. Are you watching it at all?
Yeah, I will be. Yeah,
Where are you watching it? Any idea?
probably at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't made up my mind where I'm going to watch it yet, but I'm going to watch it somewhere. So, what time is it on? Any idea?
It's probably late. They normally have big events.
Yeah, it's going to be like 5 o'clock in the morning or something stupid. Isn't
Oh
it?
yeah.
I was down, like I said, when I was down the caravan this weekend. I just want to have a bit of a rant now. Just a little bit of a rant about things. I was down the caravan, and yesterday we decided that we was going to go for a roast. So we went for a carvery at the local caravan site, and it just annoys me when old people, go on about us youngsters being, rowdy louts in the pub and all this lot.
What were you doing? You only went for a carvery.
This is what I'm
On
getting
a
at.
caravan site.
On a caravan site for a
okay.
carvery,
Yeah.
right? And there was a table of 4 old ladies. Well, I don't want to call them old ladies, because I don't like the word old. But there was 4, shall we say, mature ladies over the age of 60, right, that have been obviously on the lash drinking port all day, and they were singing, well, we ain't got a barrel of and all like the old show me the way to go, all those old songs. And it's just like they were just totally doing my head in, right? It's tipping down with rain outside. I haven't had much sleep all weekend because of the kids. They're rattling on in your back ear, and then to top it off, we got a table reserved, and it was right by the bloody door. So every time somebody came in, right, and opened the door, they didn't close it behind them. And can I just add now that the majority of the people that didn't close the door behind them were males of the age of about 40 to 60.
You were there long enough to work out the demographic, were you?
Well, in the end,
Every time you had to close it.
I was getting right.
I bet you closed it every time as well.
No, I didn't. I made my son get up and do it. So people at home, right? Close those bloody doors. That's my rant for the day.
Excellent.
Craig, anyway, 3 reasons why I've got you in the studio this evening. Number 1, I have some new equipment I'd like to try out. I got a new compressor limiter gate.
Right.
So if Craig cuts out occasionally, it's because I've got this new piece of machinery and I don't really know what I'm doing with it. I've already got one, and that's working fine up the top there, but the second one I don't really know what I'm doing
You
with.
can always do it too, can't you?
Well, you can, yeah. Number 2, Liam wanted to ask him as in Craig, why train fares have gone up. We was talking on episode 24 last week about train fares, weren't we? You were talking about train fares going up. And I said, right, well, I know a man that we can ask Craig. So Craig, why are train fares going up?
I've got bigger wages.
That's a good enough reason.
No,
the reason why I'm asking is because what do you do for a living? Tell everybody at home what you do for a living.
work for Great Western Railway on train catering.
Yeah.
So I don't have an awful lot to do with tickets, unfortunately.
But you must have a bit of an idea why they're going to go up. Why is the ticket fares going up?
To subsidise the government.
See, now...
Well, the government set the rail fares.
Now I was quite surprised about this because I asked Craig this question last night, and he said to me that basically the government subsidised railway, and I said,
yes.
well, I thought that it was a privatised, shindig. The rail line now. So why is it the government? Why are the government telling all these private people what charges they have to pay? Charges.
Because the government get involved in the running of the railway, so they can pretty much dictate the prices of the tickets.
Crap, isn't it, Liam?
And a huge percentage of ticket sales goes to the government. So if your ticket, say, costs £100, probably around about £70 to £80 of that goes back to the government.
So that's the reason why you can never get a bloody cheap train fare. So I was going up to a festival about a month ago now, and they wanted £370 to go up to Penrith. It was going to take me nearly 12 hours to get up there with about 2 stops. In the end, I just got on a plane. £70 return. Job's a good one. And
a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah. So you basically you are a trolley dolly for the railway people.
The host with the most, yes.
Yeah. Is it? I bet it's an interesting job, but you see some I
bet you do.
Drunken people, don't you?
You see everything. I've been on board now for 16 years.
Okay.
And yeah, you see a broad spectrum of society.
You see any, naughty people in the toilets? Getting up to naughties?
I've done, yes.
What you have done?
Not me personally, but...
Hey, you've been on the train a few times, haven't you?
Yes.
Do you ever
I was one of the good ones.
Because trains are funny things, because where we live down here in Cornwall, I went to a wedding up in, where was it? It was in Essex, in Romford, about 10, 15 years ago. And we was talking about trains and stuff like that. And I said that I'd come up on the train. I said, oh, yes. And I said, it's my first time I've ever been on a train. I'm like, you what? You're 30 years old and you've never been on a train? I said, but what have I ever needed to get on a train for? Because it's just like, how can I describe it? I don't know how to say it really. There's no need for me to go on a train down here, is there? If you're in London, if you're living in a city, you get on a train or the tube all the time. But what is the need to get on a train?
Depends, doesn't it? Depends. We've got lots of stations nearby, and if you're going anywhere. But no, London and that. I mean, me and my mates go up to London quite a bit, and it's easier. It's just easier than arranging other stuff, really.
Look at you.
Especially if there's a group of you going and it's, say £120 a ticket.
Definitely.
Sometimes it's cheaper to split the fuel and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it is.
Yeah, but I never go anywhere. I never do anything.
Oh, you got to.
We was actually talking the other day about going up to Totnes, wasn't we?
See that
on the Lash.
That's quite a good little. It's £6.20 up. It's about 25 minutes, isn't it, from Plymouth? It's quite easy, especially if you have quite a few drinks up there.
I went to pick Nikki up at the train station the other day because she went up to Warwick. The only way I can remember Warwick is by thinking of Nikki being a witch going to the Warwick.
Okay.
And I had to pick her up from the station at 6:30. What a ball ache trying to find somewhere to park to pick him up. And I wasn't going to pay £7.50 or whatnot to park in the car park. So I just drove round and round and round and round in circles.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, and number 3 is the reason why I asked Craig to come in is because when I asked him if he fancied coming on a podcast back along, he goes, well, why? I've got nothing to talk about. I'm boring. And what I wanted to get at here now is there's lots and lots of people out there at home that I speak to all the time that want to do a podcast. But the problem is they never know what to talk about. They say, well, I would love to do a podcast, but I think it'd be boring because I've got no content. What I'm getting at here now is everybody has got content. And you just get your mate in and have a little bit of a chat. And that is the reason why we have got Craig in this evening to have a little bit of a chat. Tell us about his life, what he gets up to and all that lot.
Cool.
And we'll be doing a little bit more of that. Now, on episode 24 last week, we talked about celebrities that have sadly passed away this year. There's been a ridiculous amount, and the list is carried on going this week. Sadly, Brucey Forsyth passed away. When did he pass away? In the week? Was it Friday? Because I was down the caravan. I didn't know anything about it.
I think it was late last week, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, Brucey passed away. Have you got any interesting facts about Brucey there in front of you, Liam?
I haven't, but I will very shortly.
Yeah, I can remember him years and years ago. For the people that are all around the world that don't know who Brucey is, he used to do a show called Play Your Cards Right, first of all. And he also done lots and lots of dancing. And he was had a big chin, didn't he? But that's the way I can describe him.
Yeah.
How old was he? He was in his 80s, wasn't he?
He was 89.
89?
Yeah.
Didn't he do well? So he had a good innings.
Tell me you didn't set that up just for me to say. Yeah. No, he did. He really did. And the BBC are talking about a permanent memorial or something like that now. But he was in the Guinness World Records for the longest career spanning.
Really? When did he get started then? Any ideas?
I think it was something ridiculous, like 75 years he was in showbiz.
Just went on and on forever, didn't he?
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah.
And so that was all in the news this week about Bruce Forsyth. Now, something that I want to talk about, something that wasn't mentioned much this week. Another person died by the name of Sonny Landham. Now, most of you at home won't know who Sonny Landham is, but he is. Do you know who he is, Craig?
I haven't got a clue.
Do you know who he is, Liam? You do, because we've talked about it in the car on the way here.
But not directly, if I'm honest
with you.
Well,
Sonny Landham was a Billy from Predator. Now, Predator is a film. Now, I do believe it was late 80s that Predator came out, but he was the guy that was. I don't know how to describe him. He was almost like he looked a bit Gurkha-ish, wouldn't you say?
So it's 87.
87
Yeah.
he was, and he was the guy that stands on the bridge at the end, and he says, "I'm scared." And he goes, "What do you mean, Billy? You ain't scared of no man." He goes, "It ain't no man. We're all gonna die." You know that, Blight?
Spoiler. Hey?
So that was Billy. He passed away, and
Oh.
I was looking to find out a little bit more information about Billy. And did you know that Billy in his early days, well, not Billy, sorry, Sonny. Did you know that in his early days he was starred in a few porn films?
Did he?
Yeah. Not that I know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna add something else to it.
I just didn't know if you had any information about.
I'm not
Sonny
gonna
Landham.
I'm not gonna look that up. I'll be blocked
No.
on your Wi-Fi. No.
You probably will actually. Yeah. But he started.
Was he?
He'd done a lot of Triple X films.
Okay.
I thought he was in the Chippendales. To be fair,
Oh,
I thought
really?
he was in the Chippendales. But
Okay.
you guys into Predator at all? Did you remember watching that film?
I think I watched it when I was younger, but not for the last 20 odd years now.
Cracking film, absolutely cracking film. I watched another film in the week. I watched This Is England. You seen This Is England?
I've never seen that.
Got to watch it, mate. It's all to do with around the 80s, and it's set in Thatcher time when we were fighting the Falklands War,
Okay.
and the hard times that was in the country, and the punk era, and the poverty that was in the country. Have you seen it, Craig?
I think so.
Now, when I was up at Kendall Calling this year, there was a guy called Sean, who's the main character, little lad, and his name is Thomas Turgoose and Gadget, and they were both up there.
Okay.
And I didn't have a chance to speak to him, but I got right close to them. But yeah, another cracking film. This Is England and Predator. Now, do you think the 80s was the best era for films?
Wow. I don't remember much of it.
No, but you must have seen a lot of films from the 80s, mustn't you?
Yeah. To be fair, you grow up watching. I was born 89.
What would you say your favourite film is?
From the 80s?
Oh, no, your favourite film.
Oh, man. Do you know what? This is the most boring thing to say. Until recently, I haven't really been a film person.
I'm not a film
Not like
film
that.
buff.
But I do actually like the 80s stuff, the real cheesy stuff. Like The Navigator and stuff like that.
Well, I'm not seen that. But you, Craig, what films were you
You've got to
into?
see that.
Are you a film man?
Not a massive film fan. No, obviously, with having 4 children, I don't have an awful lot of time to sit and watch films. So I could probably name you quite a few Disney films. Yeah,
Jesus. I see the Goonies. That has got to be one of
That's
the
classic, isn't it?
all-time classics.
But
isn't
you
it?
like E.T. as well.
I've never seen E.T.
You not?
Never seen E.T. No.
Okay.
I'm afraid of aliens. Don't like them. So I haven't seen
he's
E.T.
like a friendly alien, isn't he?
He's a friendly
He might be,
alien.
but he's scary, isn't he?
I think you're going to have to watch it.
No, mate, I'm not going to watch it. It's too scary. I don't like things like that. Goonies. So we've seen the Goonies. That was
Yeah.
good. Porky's. Can you remember Porky's?
Can't say it.
Craig seen Porky's.
Yeah. I
Good
remember
film.
that.
Yeah, that's another 80s. And the best film of all times has to be featuring Burt Reynolds,
Smoking the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandits.
See, I've seen that. I do like that.
See, I've seen Smokey and the Bandits 1, 2, and 3. I think that's all they've done. But I've never seen Convoy.
Okay.
You've never seen Convoy?
No.
Oh, no.
Never seen
Even
Convoy.
I've seen that.
Good film, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to I think we're going to have time for a drink here now and play some music. This week I had an email from a promotion guy called Neil Atkinson, and he asked me if I would like to check out a band that he's promoting. So, like I say, it's nice to get these people getting in contact with me and asking me to play some of the music. And the band that he wanted me to play are called Calling All Astronauts, and they are a London-based band, charged 3-piece. That's what it says. I ain't got a clue what that means, but they're basically a band from London, and they've done lots of stuff. They got a new album that's released by Supersonic Media that was out in March 2016, and they look a good little bit of music to play. So I'm going to put it on for you here now, and I want you to tell me at home what you think. Are you ready? You ready, Liam?
Ready?
Never been anywhere, never seen anything, but my heart is strong and true. Got a 3-day pass and I'm kicking some ass, 'cause I'm hanging around with you. I'm a makeup on and I feel like the bomb. Spend hours there. This is my chance to leave this small town. This is my time to go so far. This is my time to leave this small town. This is my chance to be a star. Living the dream, living the dream. Living the dream, living the dream. Living the dream, living the dream. My guitar on my back and I'm dressed in black like a born-again James Dean. The cute and the block get to see my shows. I love to hear them scream. All around my town I'm the number one. Big fish, little pond. Girls fall in my wake, their hearts I break. They wanna hear my song. This is my chance to leave this small town. This is my time to go so far. This is my time to leave this small town. This is my chance to be a star. Living the dream, living the dream. Living the dream, living the dream. Living the dream, living the dream. Gonna get right out of this place. I'm gonna be a star. The world can't wait to love me. I'm gonna go so far. I went down to the city and no one knew my name. I put on my leather and my guitar and traveled home again. This is my chance to leave this small town. This is my time to go so far. This is my time to leave this small town. This is my chance to be a star. Living the dream, living the dream. 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 This is my chance to leave this small town. This is my time to go so far. This is my time to leave this small town. This is my chance to be a star. Living the dream, living the dream.
So that was Living the Dream, and it was by a band called Calling All Astronauts. And that single will be released on the 25th of August. And like I said, it is called Living the Dream. And if you would like to find it on iTunes and check it out, like I say, it is released on August the 25th. You can find them on Facebook under Calling All Astronauts. And if you cannot find them, check out them on this week's show notes, on my show description, or by looking up this episode on my webpage, www.jaff10.simplesite.com. Christ, only just got through that, Liam.
You're sweating there, man.
I'm bloody sweating. Absolutely sweating. And like I said, I didn't really know what I was doing there, what I was saying, but I think you got the message. They are the astronauts living the dream. It was sent in to me very, very late, you see. And
okay.
I had to
very
dig it
good.
out.
I like
Did you enjoy that?
Good voice there. Good sound.
Who did it remind you of?
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash?
I did think when it started. It's
do you know
quite
what it
husky.
reminded me of?
A bit David Bowie like.
Yeah, I could hear David Bowie.
Yeah.
And I could also hear Billy Idol.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So, like I said, they're a 3-piece band from London.
Yeah.
So, I suppose,
You're going
there
to
you
be
go.
anyone, I suppose.
Right, it is time to put the spotlight on Craig now. Get the spotlight, Liam. Put it on him.
Here we go.
Yeah. Let's find out some stuff about him, shall we? Age, sex, location. It isn't a dating thing, but...
That's going back a bit, isn't it? Age, sex, location.
ASL. Age, sex, location. Hey?
Hey?
How old are you, Craig? Go on, tell us.
39.
Sex?
As often as possible.
Location?
Saltash.
So we talked about your job. You work for Great Western National. And
Hey?
is it Great Western National?
It's a
Railway.
railway, not a
Railway.
bus.
Did I say bus? Did I? I'm thinking about Blakey.
Oh, have you forgotten about that?
So how long have you been working on the rail for then, mate?
Just over 16 years.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes.
So what exactly do you do then? So do you work behind the bar?
Yep. There's 3 catering points on board. You've got your fixed point static, which is your buffet car. You've got your first class service for first class passengers. And we also recently, in the last 18 months, started a standard class trolley service on select services.
What's these new trains going to be like then? These
The IETs,
what does that stand for?
Intercity Express train.
What's that going to be like then? Is it going to be good fun?
It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be something different. It's massive leap forward from what we've got. The current rolling stock for high-speed services are 40 years old. Well, they've been in service for 40 years. And so to go from that to this new train, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm a health and safety rep through the union, and I've had the privilege of being able to go on twice to do risk assessments on a moving train. So I have actually been on the IET in traffic, but not in passenger traffic, unfortunately.
That must be a nightmare doing a risk assessment for a moving train.
It's not so much a issue when you're doing it every day anyway.
No, but I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong, isn't it? I mean, you've literally...
Yeah, I mean, I must
when you do
admit...
a risk assessment, you've got to put down everything that could go wrong, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, Hitachi obviously have made trains before. They've got a rough idea of how to build these things. They've had a spec list from the company anyway and from DFT as well. So an awful lot of the issues that could have happened have already been preempted and corrected anyway. So they've been built into the actual stock. So we've come along and there's silly little things like no boiler guard around the boiler handle.
Right.
So we want things like that putting in.
Yeah.
And just general day-to-day operational stuff. It may have had a slight oversight.
Yeah.
Thing is, you haven't seen me on a train, have you? You cannot do a risk assessment until I've been on a train. Because I'm the sort of guy that actually falls off the back of buses.
Do you know what? These new trains are... I went from... One of the routes I went on was from Bristol to Swansea, and apparently the route there is quite rough. It's not a route I've ever been on because obviously it's not somewhere I go. I'm predominant Plymouth to Paddington. So to go from Bristol to Swansea is a completely alien place for me to be. And apparently it's a very rough section of track. Not that you would have known it on the IET, the new train.
Okay.
Extremely comfortable place to be.
Get a smooth ride then.
Yeah, very.
My cousin used to be a train driver up in Doncaster.
Yeah.
No, I don't know him.
No. Andrew Jeffries called. You don't know him?
Can't say it rings a bell now.
There's lots of train drivers. He doesn't actually work for them anymore, but he did. He was on a train. He used to drive trains back along. And it wasn't Thomas the Tank Engine, before you ask. Musical taste. What's your musical taste? What sort of music you into?
Well, I never was one for clubbing and going out drinking and doing all that whole social over the top stuff. That wasn't really me. And that
was me.
Yeah, I made friends with a chap called Darren, and we ended up doing a lot of DJing together. And he kind of introduced me to vinyl. And he had a set of Technics 1210s, and that's kind of what I did. So I ended up, as a child, I was always like Prodigy, Scooter, that kind of like happy, hardcore, bouncy stuff.
Yeah.
And then kind of ended up DJing it as well. Not to any professional level, just kind of bedroom fun, having a bit of fun with your mates, doing some house parties for your friends. And I think my claim to fame was I was flown to Belfast to do a party over there, but that was kind of
That's
it, really.
Cool.
Yeah, until I realised I'd forgot my headphones. That was a bit of a panic session, but yeah, no, it's so I've got a very eclectic musical taste. I can go from anything from jazz, classical, blues, hardcore, trance, dance.
That's a bit like us, Liam, isn't it?
That's the only way to be.
Literally just
innit?
a bit of anything, but it just purely depends on my mood. Some nights I'll just want to sit there with a glass of red wine and some jazz music. and other nights I want to go out and thrash the car with some heavy metal.
Well, I'm glad you actually said that, to be honest with you, because I seen something this afternoon that I think all of us can relate to here now. And I was laughing my head off. It was on Facebook, and it was from the Summer Sonic Festival, and the Foo Fighters were playing there.
Right.
And they're doing their set at this festival. I think it might have been in Austria. I'm not sure. But there's a Summer Sonic Festival, and the Foo Fighters are doing their bit. Next minute, they say, right, we're going to invite one of our mates on the stage, a new friend of ours, and he's going to kick ass. Have a guess who come on the stage.
Do you know what? I've seen this story and I've forgotten who it was.
Rick Astley.
That's it. That's it.
He done a song in the 80s called Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh,
and
they did it.
And they actually sung that song. Honestly, it was really, really cool. And if you haven't had a chance to check that out, get on there, get on Facebook and look up the Foo Fighters at the Summer Sonic Festival singing Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give It Up. Or Never Gonna Give You Up, something like that. Do you remember that song?
Never
from the
Gonna
80s?
Give You Up. Yeah, I remember.
I can remember that song in the 80s, being at Butlins when I was a little kid.
He's still touring though. Isn't
He is still touring.
He's doing well.
Yeah.
Probably back to Butlins next summer.
I reckon so.
I think he's
actually
actually got a new album out. Have a look on your
I know he's
your
doing
thing.
all those kind of
I think he's got-
80s weekender things.
Yeah, he's been at Butlins doing that sort of thing, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that he has got a new album out or it's coming out or something like that. So me and Liam like to have a bit of a drink. You say that you like to have a bit of a red wine. What sort of drink are you into, Craig? Because I did see on Facebook that you like to have a bit of whiskey and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of busted on that one there. I have a penchant for decent whiskey. Yeah.
What do you call a decent whiskey? What would the price for a decent whiskey be, in your opinion?
Oh,
What's your favourite whiskey?
my favourite at the moment, obviously because your tastes change, is a whiskey from Dalwhinnie.
Dalwhinnie.
It is a beautiful drop of whiskey.
I bought my dad a bottle of Dalwhinnie, and a Drambuie as well. Do you like Drambuie?
That's more of a cognac, isn't it?
No, it's a
You've been rumbled.
I don't know.
That's more of a liqueur, isn't it?
I told him
I
it
don't know.
was.
I don't actually drink whiskey.
It was alcohol.
It was
Yeah, it's alcohol. We were saying last week when we Liam about my bottle that it still hasn't come yet. I've ordered a bottle of Kraken.
Oh yes,
spice rum.
Yes,
Do you like that?
Yes, yeah. I've heard quite a bit about rum, the Kraken rum. I'm a fan of Captain Morgan's.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just a really easy drink to drink. And a friend of mine mentioned this Kraken, so I thought I'd try it. And went to a shop where I can't remember where it was, but he did a miniature. I thought, well, if I buy a miniature and I don't like it, it was a miniature. It was like £3-4. But yeah, needless to say, it'll be on my next shopping list when I go out. It's a stunning drop of rum.
What did you drink it with? Did you drink it by yourself? By itself? Sorry, not yourself.
By yourself.
You don't have to drink it on your own, but it's probably nice to drink with your friends.
I haven't got any, so I always drink by myself.
Just a bit of ice and some Diet Coke. It's lovely.
Well, I don't actually like spice rum. Don't like it, right?
So you thought you'd go with a Kraken spice rum?
Like I said,
Yeah.
I had it with ginger ale,
Right.
and I don't actually like ginger ale, right?
How this one
So this is the
start?
reason why I didn't think I would like it.
So is this now you do like ginger
But
ale?
put it together, and what have you got? Biggity boggity boo. Now put it together, spice rum and ginger ale. It is absolutely beautiful.
And I was saying with gin and orange juice
You like gin?
and orange juice.
Gin and
Yeah.
juice.
It's stunning.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've had gin and juice for years and years and years, but gin. The problem is with gin is it's a bit of an antidepressant, isn't it? If you have enough of it, I remember sitting on the Colton Suite floor, crying my eyes out because I drank about half a bottle of gin. You can laugh, Liam.
Yeah, I will.
I
Hey,
think,
it
would that
wasn't
not have
funny
been
at
the
time.
situation, not just the alcohol, Roger?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you go Colton
Yeah.
Suite. It made me cry every week when I went there. I don't think it
I'm
was
not
anything to do
surprised.
with
It's
gin.
probably just a Colton Sweet, isn't it?
Now, you're one of your part-time hobbies. Is it a hobby? Would you call it a hobby? Is detailing cars, and he does a bloody good job, Liam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get started on that then?
Well, just over 4 years ago, I purchased my Zafira VXR. And decided that it was black and it needed some effort putting into making it shine. Because I was extremely proud of the fact that I managed to achieve, the status of buying a car like that.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was into cleaning cars, so I asked him to take it in and spend a day on it, and I'll pay him for it. Of which he did. I went back later on in the day and picked it up, and I barely recognised it because it was so shiny and amazing. And we just got chatting about wash methods and how to look after my car, because obviously I now I've got a clean car. I want to keep it clean and keep it shiny. And just kind of going from that, I learned an awful lot more quite quickly about how to keep your car clean. And it's not just about washing. There's so many different things involved. And I got to a level where people are actually saying, "Oh, well, your car's looking really good." I was like, "Thanks ever so much." And then they were like, "Oh, well, I'll pay you to do mine." And it's like, "Well, okay, if you want," and it just kind of evolved from that. And now it's got to the point where obviously I still have a full-time job, and that will always take priority, especially when I've got 4 children, a wife, and priorities. But yeah, it's got to a point now where I actually have to put things in a diary to keep a track of what's coming up and what's going on.
That's a good job, though. You remember when my car was looking clean?
I do.
Back along. Well, Craig was the one that done it.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's good.
I mean, the thing is, I used to do a bit of car valeting years ago, not to the extent, because, there's a difference between car valeting and car detailing. Car valeting is when you go to that little man down the garage, should we say, the little Turkish man.
Nicely saved.
That charge you about £15 and does I'll clean your car for you. And he cleans your car for you, but he doesn't do a very good job. And then
it looks clean.
It does look clean, but it's not clean, is it?
No.
It's just like...
Especially after prolonged visits, yes.
How long does it take for you to clean a car then?
But it kind of really depends on what the person wants from that car, and budget, what they want to spend. Because sometimes what you'll quote that person, they're not willing to spend that much on that car. And that's absolutely fine, because you can always, there's no price list. There's no set price for anything. So you can kind of tailor something for somebody's needs. But I've recently today finished a VW Beetle from 1971 in very good condition, considering its age.
That's older than me.
Only by a couple of years.
That's up. 1977 I was born. 6 years older than me.
I was born in 78, so I'm all right.
Yeah. But done a good job though, mate. I did see it on Facebook. It was looking pretty good.
Took you around the roundabout? About 2 days.
2 days, did it?
Yeah, that was a full machine polish, everything. Not including interiors or engine bays. Look
good though, mate. Now, I first met you, I think it was when you and me, now this is going back a hell of a long time, when you and me was in Cubs.
I can tell exactly when we met.
Go on then.
I was 8.
You was 8?
And I was keen to join the local club, Cub Scout movement. And it was back in the day where we had the peaked caps with the gold threaded things. And I went on I think it was a remembrance parade. And I wasn't yet a Cub, so I had to wait. So I had my black trousers and a white shirt, and I think it was a red tie, because I remember there's a photo of me at home somewhere in the Cub Scout picture. And there's Mr. Jaff there.
That's me.
Looking all smart and dapper.
Yeah.
And there's me kind of with me, I'm not quite a Cub yet. So I think I was around about 7.5, 8 years old. And considering I'm 40 next year, I think, we've had a lengthy friendship.
Oh, that was can you remember anything from Cubs?
I remember I had an armful of badges.
Yeah. But I think that you was, now, I can't even remember whether it was right. I was a 6er, which means you was in charge of your little group. Is that right? And then what was the second one in charge? Was it a seconder?
Yes, 6er and seconders.
I think you was my seconder at one stage.
Probably, yeah.
We had brown woggles and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
That's all I can remember, and going camping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hell of a long time ago. And then we went in the Scouts.
We remember Scouts. You remember Skip, Roger Denley.
Yeah, Digger.
Bless him. He's still around. He's still in Callington. And we talk very often. Very fond memories of him. I think he was quite formative in me being a young man. And a lot of the skills I learned as a kid, I still use frequently, like knots and stuff. But, it as a 12-year-old, you probably don't even think about what's going to happen in like 30 odd years' time. And the skills that you're learning, you do keep with you.
I wish I did. I haven't spoken to Rog for years, and that was because I fell out of his daughter Lorraine. And the thing is, it's like, I think the world of Lorraine. I really like her. I'm not going to go on air about it, but that was the girl that I had an argument with on Facebook at the time. And by that time, there was like 300 comments. It was going on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, you're also, like we said, you're in the union, which is something that Liam's got in common because Liam is our union rep and you're a union rep as well.
Yep.
Did you want to talk to Craig about anything to do with union, Liam?
No, it's just obviously whatever sector you're in. It's a
sector in America.
Sector. Yeah. It's a difficult job to do. But
I mean, I've been a local rep twice.
Okay.
And I'm now the health and safety rep. Absolutely love the role.
Yeah.
Obviously being on board trains using catering equipment and stuff like that, it presents its own challenges and
I bet.
And stuff. But
won't get I'm part of the union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the union's about, though. It's about protection. It's about standing together for what you believe is to be the right thing.
Definitely.
And the union is only as strong as its members.
I think that's a universal thing in it as well.
Yeah,
and that's,
definitely.
It's nice to see other unions, like you say, standing up for the conditions and working environment. Really.
Well, I'm bloody strong. I'm bloody
Are
strong.
you bloody strong?
I'm bloody
That's
strong.
because you're part of the union.
I am part of the union. I'm a union guy. So we was talking last week about the prison sector. Because the prison sector now are not allowed to go on strike, and it's coming around now. A lot of the unions they're closing them down. What do you think about prisoners? The prison sector now not allowed to be able to vote to go on strike if they want to.
Oh, it's very evocative, isn't it? I've got a friend who has previously stayed at His Majesty's pleasure at Dartmoor.
I played football out there once.
I'm glad you made it home.
I very nearly didn't, but carry on.
And he was saying that a lot of the time, to say like 2 or 3 days out of a 7-day period, they'd be on lockdown because they didn't have enough staff to run the prison. Prisons are there for rehabilitation. You've done something wrong. You've had your human rights taken away from you, but you've also got the right to learn, to benefit, to learn to adjust back into society when your time comes up. Now, if you haven't got the staff to do that, then where's that rehabilitation coming from? What is a government doing for that? Now, I'm not sure whether us 3 chaps sitting in a front room can challenge that, but it's hard because obviously having somebody from there who's experienced it and said that you're on 24-hour lockdown or 23-hour lockdown because you're allowed to go to the toilet, go and have a shower, get your meal, go back to your cell, and then you're locked down again. Where's the rehabilitation? And prison officers don't want to go on. Nobody ever wants to go on strike. No matter where your workforce is, nobody ever wants to go on strike.
No, that's right.
It's the last resort. And those prison officers who want to improve their conditions, not just for themselves but for inmates as well, they won't have a voice now because they can't get that last line of defence. They can't do that. And that's kind of almost like censorship by the government.
I mean, yeah, we can relate to that, can't we? With the job that we do with Royal Mail, in the sense that, years and years ago, we were saying that, if issues don't get sorted out, there's going to be problems. Lots of members of the public, just thought it was because we wanted extra money and this, and this. And we were saying that, no, the reason why we're on strike is for a reason.
I like to think that it's...
And now the public are seeing it, aren't they?
I like to think it's
issues.
changed. It's not just about pay. It really isn't.
No, the typical perception from the public, if somebody or a union is going on strike or whatever, whether it's the nurses, doctors, whoever, postmen, whoever's going on strike, I'd say probably around about 80% of the time it's not about pay.
No.
It's about pensions. It's about your terms and conditions. It's about your working environment. So it's public perception. Hopefully that's changing, especially with these guys on Southern taking on, where the government are trying to force through Go Via Rail to do door operated only services. When you've got passengers on stations in wheelchairs, people with reduced mobility.
It's scary.
And they're trying to get to a train. If they can't get to that train and a train dispatches, they're then left on the station on their own because McNulty Report wants to reduce the amount of booking officers to next to nothing. They want to reduce the amount of station staff to next to nothing, and support staff. He just wants to whittle it all down. So in a minute, you're going to have driver-only trains on platforms where there's 1, maybe 2 members of staff and they just can't help.
if something goes wrong or
And
someone
that's it.
needs attention, there's just no one there. No, it's scary.
It is scary. And another thing that's scary as well is politics. Craig wanted to talk briefly about politics. I said to him, think of some things to talk about on the podcast. And he says, well, we could talk about politics. Are we allowed to talk politics on this show, Liam?
Of course.
We don't normally talk politics, do we?
Everything's politics, really.
Yeah, but there's not, apart from Brexit that's going on in the UK at the moment, I just think that politics has gone quite quiet at the moment, or is it just the fact that I'm not watching much telly at the moment? Is there anything you can politically we can talk
I
about?
think people are looking at America more than anything.
They are, innit?
Realising that he's probably, he is insane.
Well, there's been a few issues over in America at the moment, hasn't there? Last week, there was that big, what would you call it? Was it a riot, would you call it, involving the Ku Klux Klan and the Nazis? And
flare-up of...
What's that group called? The general, it's got that flies the general flag. What are they all about?
It was white supremacists, wasn't it, in Charlottesville? And kind of, it's just all kind of gone back to the 60s again, and all kind of, isn't it? Everything is very tipped on topsy-turvy again, really.
Is it Trump that's doing it, do you think?
I don't think he can be blamed completely for
But
it.
he's not condoning it, is he?
But he's not. He hasn't come out and said that it's a terrible thing. He blamed both parties, didn't he?
Well, on the topic of issues in America, I think it leads us nicely on to our next song, sent to us by Shauna at Shameless Promotions. Now, this song is by a band called American Anytime, and they've got a new EP out, and the EP is called Flag Burner. And the Flag Burner song, it takes a stance against Trump's America. So should we have a listen to it?
Let's have a listen.
Cool, here we go.
Dear comrades, oppose Marxism, Leninism.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag burner. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag burner. Don't call baseball football. I don't call football hot oatmeal. I don't jump to conclusions either. I don't judge books by their covers. There are no more mysteries. These people are exactly what they seem. I prefer a quiz show, but what we get is this giant orange head devouring everything instead. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag burner. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag burner. Can't live with the knowledge that half the country voted fascist. I can't live with the other half fully, who don't see the U.S. as a bully. I can't see the Constitution as special, cause it does not mention women at all. I can't see artists in a few years explaining away the Trump years. There are no more mysteries. Our reality is now reality TV. It's the X-Files mixed with WrestleMania and one giant competition. They say right, we say wrong. Right, we say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get this. They say right, we say wrong. Right, we say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get this. Now aren't you glad that you voted? So ask the passage your vote make a difference. The Trump and Pence clique, they're fucking fascist. Elected president by the Electoral College itself put in place to protect the slave state. Holy hot shit, the U.S. president is a billionaire son with a homophobic dick. Elected to the top, the handicapped, elected to the top like some idiot job. bragging to the cops of his sex offenses. He never ever thought of the consequences, cause money mixed with news is the sudden death of truth. And poor Haiti Carol's brought back the beat of youth. Over and over again by a racist president. I say ours, cause we are Americans. Half the nation voted for this man to make us pay again, but nothing that ever can come from something with a rotten foundation. I'm not like you a lot, but he stands for all of us. So if nobody stands out, then we're sitting on our butts, we're sitting on our ass, and we're saying yes. Donald Trump, he represents us. There are no more mysteries. People are exactly what they seem. I prefer a quiz show, but what we get is this giant orange head devouring everything instead. They say right, right, right. We say wrong. Right, right, right. We say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get test. They say right, right, right. We say wrong. Right, right, right. We say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get test. They say right, right, right. We say wrong. Right, right, right. We say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get this. They say right, right, right. We say wrong. Right, right, right. We say left. Business and government coalesce. You wanted the best, but you get this. Now aren't you glad that you wrote it? I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag burner.
So that was American Anytime, Flag Burner, and that EP is out very soon, and it takes a stance against Trump's America, don't you think, Liam?
Yeah, I don't think we were left in any doubt about what they think about Trump.
Did you think they don't like him?
I get that idea.
Do you like him?
Not really, no.
Fake news. Anyway,
Fake
Liam,
news.
we're nearly at the end of the show. Have you got any topics that you'd like to talk about? Is there anything that's been rattling your cage this week that you'd like to talk about?
Just one big thing. I mean, with all the killing in the world and all the sorrow and stuff.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Liam's back.
Big Ben.
Yeah.
Falling silent.
Yeah. When's that happening?
That's happened today, isn't it?
Is it?
For the last time for 4 years. Well,
right.
Apart from they might be. I mean, they're saying now it's coming out that it is a health and safety thing. Obviously, they don't want people up there fixing it with it going off. And deafening them, and if they've got to clean and work on, I mean, this isn't just a bit of a polish. They're pretty much overhauling the whole of it, aren't they? And refitting it so it can go on for another 157.
So what exactly are they doing then? Because Big Ben's actually the bell, isn't it? It's not the bell tower.
Yeah.
So are they fixing the bell or are they fixing the bell tower?
I think it's everything. I think it's a complete refurbishment. It's like taking your watch in and having it done, except it's going to take 4 years.
Why does it take so long to do anything in this country? 4 years to fix a clock.
They've got to do risk assessments.
I think, yeah.
It is that, isn't it?
It's a big old job. But one thing I did hear is they said it wouldn't be ringing because they were worried that the workmen and the workwomen that were on the side of the tower would be startled by it going off.
We'll just give them some earmuffs to put on.
That's just lovely. Give me earmuffs.
It's no different if they're in there any other time, is it?
I think now they're going to reach a bit of a compromise now. I think they say like at New Year's and Remembrance Sunday and that they will actually
put a tape recording going.
Can you imagine that? Just someone holding up a boombox.
Honestly, mate, it just makes me laugh. Did you see that thing not so long ago? It was in Japan or China or something where they had a massive great hole appear in the road. A massive, huge chunk of the road just gave way.
Police are looking into it.
Yeah, it left a big hole in the road, right? And they managed, I mean, this hole was a massive hole. They managed to fill it in, get it back and up and running within, I think, 2 weeks.
They can rebuild whole roads that are lost with earthquakes in
this
bridges
country
and stuff, and they can like
everything.
Weeks.
How long would it take in this country?
Mate,
years.
They'd be there with a clipboard looking at it for 2 years, wouldn't they? Oh.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say before we go, Craig? Any topics you'd like to bring up?
No, I think I'm done. Thanks ever so much for having me, and it's been great fun.
Well, that is the end of the show. Thank you very much, Craig, for popping in. Thank you all once again for listening to episode 25 of the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. Please check out my website, www.jaff10 at simplesite.com, for this week's links and show notes. Look me up on Instagram, the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show. I am also on Twitter at Jaff10, Facebook, and also on iTunes. And all of the links mentioned on this episode will be on those domains. So please leave me a comment on iTunes. And if you're a band or fancy appearing on the podcast, please send me an email, jaff10@hotmail.com. Don't forget the Mark Jeffrey Podcast Show is now a member of the Brit Pod scene. That's 2 weeks now, Liam, where I've actually said it right.
Yes.
And you can find us at #BritPodScene. Thanks once again, Liam. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Any last words?
Stay safe out there. Don't have nightmares.
Who says that normally?
Was there a night caller?
The night caller.
Caller.
Time to wrap it up. Don't forget to look after yourselves and those around you. Treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. And remember, your life may not be as crazy as you once thought it was.